What are today's students like? What's in the head of an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old who's trying to get into this music today, as opposed to where you guys were in the 70s?
Oh, well, that's a whole long diatribe. But in a nutshell, with all the information available via the internet, students and fairly comprehensive jazz programs in the schools that weren't quite as comprehensive when I was going to school. These kids have a lot of the information. It still boils down to what they do with it and how dedicated they are to working it all out.
Hello, Sonny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my dog. He's a jazz fan, and
look at that face.
Wow.
you heard me talking about him. Anyway,
Whereas my dog.
The big difference, I mean, when I was younger and going to school and learning the music, I would go out and buy an LP, and it was something I held in my hand, and I read the back, and I played it hundreds of times, and I did unspeakable things with the LP cover, and I won't go any further than that. But I mean, there was somehow less information but deeper contact is the way I see it. By just this process of wearing out a recording, you would learn all the nuance and learn all the notes and somehow take a lot away from it. The other thing is there was a lot of playing going on back then. There was work. I mean, there were bands. There were big bands. I mean, I played in big bands for 5 years straight, pretty much, between Buddy Rich and Thad and Mel, and subbing on Gil's band and Louis Bellson and all the rest. So I don't think that exists quite the same way. But I mean, look, if you're dedicated and you do the work, you're going to arrive at the same place. You're going to play great, and that's always been the way, and will continue to be the way, from what I can see.
I'm the artistic director of an institute at Berkeley, which they have since named the Effortless Mastery Institute. I was at NYU in a very nice adjunct situation for about 12 years, and they just, everybody knows my book. More people know my book than know me. It's just a real oddity, it's a real anomaly. And a lot of musicians have been very helped by it. I don't even know, it's like what Randy said about something that the biggest success thing was somebody else's idea. I mean, I wrote that book because it was spilling out of my mouth. I never thought anything would happen, and it's really become a very big imprint on a lot of people. Some of the emails I get still kind of almost make me blush how people have been turned around by it. So Berkeley invested in me, the opportunity to set up courses. See, one of the things that is not discussed that much is the biggest way that a young musician can lose their way completely is by going to music school. It's he who shall not be named, that this is who shall not be spoken of, and I go to schools and I talk about it, and I talk about ways of coming back inside and coming from there, and people get really enthused, but then I split and they get back into the inevitable overwhelmness. I say students, how many of you have trouble practicing? And they all go kind of like that, and I say, how many of you think it's because you're lazy? And they all go like that. I say, you're not lazy, you're overwhelmed. And that is the biggest problem in school, and for some reason that has nothing to do with my interest or intention. I came up with great stuff to help people with that, and now Berkeley has taken me up on it as an institute for people to try to find their voice again, to be able to concentrate enough to practice something and have their playing improve rather than practice everything and have nothing change. And I'm very involved in it now. It's very much my future, and I can't believe how creative it is and how much rope they've given me to hang myself. So that's what I'm doing now as far as education. And what I get blown away by, if I came along today and there was, first of all, I have to say, there's a larger crop of amazing young musicians that I can ever remember on this planet at one time. I don't know what it is, if it's reincarnation or multiple generations or just DNA advancing, and I have no idea what stupid reason I have, but it's just a fact. And they come along, at 8 years old, they've got it all figured out. So there's got to be, reincarnation actually explains it the best to me. I don't know, if you assumed reincarnation, it would all make sense. But regardless of what the reason is, and I'm amazed, I don't think I would even try it today. I would say, you know what, God, there's enough guys already. Let me do something else. I don't think I would do it. These kids are so open-hearted. They're so dedicated. I'm blown away. I'm blown away by the dedication. And I think to myself, if I can be just a little emotional for a second, my daughter was just starting to move into music too. And I see them, and I see them all like, if my daughter needed my help to become the musician she wanted to be, what wouldn't I do to help them? So I don't really have any agenda with these students. I look at them, I see what they might need, and I just want to help them any way they can, because I am so blown away by how dedicated they are. I don't know. We weren't like that. And we used to backbite each other. These kids are all in there for at least they've got me fooled. They're in it for each other. They're egging each other on. You know, it's just amazing. I hope it portends of something really wonderful that we can't conceive of yet, because otherwise it's kind of hard to figure out what they're all going to do.
Randy, you travel all around the planet. You work with kids all around the planet. Is the attitude is the same? Is there the love of the music and the thirst for knowledge globally?
Well, I wholeheartedly concur with Kenny. At least in the jazz world, in that form of music, there are many more great young musicians, all encouraging themselves, encouraging me when I go to places and hear them play. And when I hear young kids playing around New York, their knowledge and enthusiasm is just incredible. I wish I had could say the same about pop music. I don't quite understand what's going on in that department, but as far as young, good musicians, it just shows you how jazz education can really help young players, whatever's going on now. It's just incredible. It really is.